from an injury perspective, as far as the game status, Cam Akers will be out, will not play in this game. And then the only guy that will be listed as questionable will be Brandon Powell. Tweaked his ankle a little bit yesterday in practice, but we do expect him to be able to go.
Are you going to elevate a couple guys, Van?
Yes, yeah. We've had so many different things in my mind that's kind of already done. I guess semantically it hasn't done. Yes, we will elevate Van. Any other guys that you want to ask me about? Troy Hill. Yes, the guys that we've kind of talked about this week that have been out there. T. Howard will be one that will probably let his clock keep going a little bit, and the same thing with Kyron Williams. So not those guys, but I can't even keep up with sometimes who's on IR, who did we have off of it, stuff like that. But we will get Van and Troy Hill both back off IR. You know what? It's a great question. I think he's felt great this week. I think we'll kind of monitor as the game progresses. A lot of it is predicated on, all right, are you able to have some continuity with some of your drives and getting multiple plays off? But the goal is he's been full speed. He's done a great job this week. But we've been able to develop some depth in that room that I think will be helpful to be able to still keep some of those other guys involved. But we're anticipating a normal workload for Van when you've seen him in previous years. It's huge, and I think the other thing too is when you have multiple guys that have the ability to play outside and inside. You guys just talked to Jalen. You need complementary pieces to be able to play off of one another. One of the things that makes Jalen so unique is that versatility, but you also need somebody else that can be, kind of the Robin to his Batman and on the back end. And Troy Hill has been a very productive player, both as an outside player, inside. He's just got a great way about himself. It's been great to get back around him. He's got a knack for making plays, and hopefully that'll show up this Sunday.
Sean, is Malcolm Brown going to have a bigger role this week?
I think so, Maria. He's going to be involved. He's done a great job. Just a pro's pro, toughness, physicality. Quickly really kind of picked up where he left off in terms of some of the things that we're doing. But he should have a bigger role. We'll have Darryl ready to go. He's feeling good. He was sick earlier in the week. And then Ronnie Rivers. So those three guys again this week.
Matthew Stafford was saying the other day when he was asked about kind of the league that parity is at a premium right now throughout the NFC. How do you see it? Similar? Or?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's just been some strange, things that we would all agree on. But I think sometimes when you're in the moment, if you went back, you'd probably say there was some strange things, leading into our 7th game last year. And so I think because this league is so popular and, you guys have a responsibility to be able to kind of write a new narrative every single week. You got to be in tune with that. But also what we try to be aware of is, hey, let's just be present. Let's just continue to try to play good football. But I think you could certainly say that in some instances. I know it's been a little bit different than any experience with some of the situations that we've navigated through, none of which are any excuse other than let's be ready to go. Let's enjoy the opportunity to continue to get better. And that's where our focus and concentration really is. When you take a step back and you say, all right, what's the appropriate perspective and context to really apply to this year or any other year? It's, hey, let's focus on improving every single day, trusting our process, our preparation, being mindful of our players and how to put those guys in the right spots. All right. And then let's go see what the heck happens and do it with, hard work, but an enthusiasm that I think becomes contagious. I've loved the way these guys have worked this week. And that was a lot more than what you asked me about the parity in the league, but that's how I feel.
And are you anticipating, with 49ers coming to SoFi, the big crowd, the big 49er contingent?
They travel well. We definitely have the ability to utilize our silent count if need be. We'd rather be ready than caught off guard. And so if that's the case, certainly our guys are ready to handle that. And if not, we'll be excited about that as well. But either way, we're just excited about the opportunity to be back at home, playing in front of a great crowd and seeing if we can give people a lot to be excited about.
Sean, do you have that? It seems that regardless of how Cooper Cup is covered, Matthew still finds ways to get the ball. What is so unique about it?
I just think there's, they spend so much time together. They see the game through the same lens. And really, it's two special players. They're both great players in their own right. You put them together, and then they have such an ownership and an understanding and really a lot of input, Sarah, in regards to some of the things that we're doing. And, Cooper's ability to be able to play all over the formation, ability to run a bunch of different types of routes. It's easier to be able to get him the football that way. But those guys, they immediately had a special rapport. Even going back to camp last year, you could kind of see a big season for Cooper coming just based on the different things that they were able to get done. And, they continue to spend a lot of time together, really smart, special players. And I think that's probably, the biggest reasons that I would say.
How would you describe Brian Allen's personality?
How would you describe Brian Allen's personality?
Definitely wrestled in high school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, you know what? This guy loves football. He's definitely competitive. He can be, he's got great, he's got a great way about himself. I love Brian Allen. I love the competitor. I mean, football is so important to him. He is invested in this thing. He's a tough competitor. If you're playing against him, you're saying this guy's if he's on your team, you love him. Sorry, I can't say that now anymore, can I? All right, bleep this thing out. But no, he is. I love his command. I love how important the game is to him, and the competitiveness, the toughness. But you can definitely tell he was a former wrestler, a lot of success, and he's not afraid to give you that resume either if you ask him about it.
Last year, when he was trying to sort of grab a hold of that ownership of the center position in general, and there was a competition.
Yeah.
People sort of had mentioned there's like a specific tenacity that sort of you can feel
Sure.
in the game. I think you sort of said it earlier. but
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah. Sorry.
But kind of what is that vibe and what does that do for an offensive line that is looking to get back?
I think it's an identity that's necessary, especially when you just look at what those offensive linemen are asked to do, snap in and snap out. There's a toughness, there's a grit, there's a competitiveness that's absolutely necessary and vital to be successful, in my opinion. He brings that, you mentioned that. That's one of my favorite things about Brian Allen is you look at it, there was a lot of people that were doubting him when he ends up having the knee injury. You're saying, all right, are you going to play somebody else at center? And this guy didn't flinch. He believed in himself. And there was a lot of instances where you say, hey, man, I was even wrong, but man, am I glad I was wrong. And you have an open mind about a guy that's resilient, mentally tough enough to say, hey, give me an opportunity. I'm going to compete. I'm going to show you I'm the best guy for the job. And that's one of my favorite things because I'll never pretend to make all the right decisions. But if you have an open lens and you have people that are wired the right way to respond to some setbacks and really look at it as a setup for a comeback, that's exactly what he did. I think that's what embodies great competitors is that they never count themselves out of the fight, even if they feel like the chips are stacked against them. And that's one of my favorite things about him with what he did last year, how key that was. And to get him back is big for us, Jordan. Hey, Lindsay. Good.
Well, there's been a lot of discussion about Christian McCaffrey this week, but also on the Rockets, George Kittle and Deebo Samuel. What makes those guys so challenging?
I think just the competitiveness, and I think, they're in Kyle does a good job of being able to utilize their skill sets, but you're talking about with Deebo, George, and really, Christian, guys that can make all types of plays with the ball in their hands in different parts of the field. With George, obviously excellent after the catch, but he can also catch the ball down the field. He tracks it well. He plays in line. You're talking about a complete player. Deebo, same thing, contact balance, the strength, the competitiveness, legitimate receiver, legitimate running back. This guy's just a great football player, and Christian is really in alignment with those kind of things. And so you're talking about competitiveness, versatility, no limitations in their game, and I think that's what makes those guys great, and that's usually consistent amongst, the great players around this league.
This might be not true, but is there one word you would use to describe where he's been for the last several years since he's been here?
I'm right here right now. I think competitive, exciting. It's a great opportunity for us. And I really believe this. I get up here and everybody wants to talk about different things. I'm interested in Sunday at 125, us going and doing our thing, competing to the best of our ability, no fear of failure, going and attacking success, and that's what I expect to see. Yeah, you knew that. You know better.
Last two.
Sean,
Liam was saying how Cooper seems to know just about everything about this offense. He's saying he knows the offensive line calls. Specifically, what does that do for a receiver who has so much knowledge?
I think it slows the game down. He really is an extension of the coaching staff on the field. Obviously Matthew does such a great job. We talked about Brian. Those guys are kind of their positions, whether it be center or quarterback. You're innately thrust into a leadership, a communication role that is key to be able to get everybody else in alignment. And then Cooper does that from the receiver spot. He understands where targets are supposed to go in the run game. I mean, this guy loves football. He's passionate about it. And I think there is a calming presence when, hey, if you're not sure about something, it's not against the rules to be able to lean on your teammates. And I think he provides a quieted mind for some of his teammates around him. If there's any uncertainty, or we got a couple different plays called in the huddle, and, his steadiness. I can remember a play that I think really shows his ownership. Played Cleveland in 2019, and we were in a formation where he was on the opposite side of the formation, and he ends up, waving somebody on, realizes, oh, we weren't in a legal formation. He gets himself on at the last second. He's waving somebody on the opposite side to get on because he could see we didn't have an eligible on the opposite side of the formation. Gets the guy on the line of scrimmage and then realizes, oh, we're in a position where I'm in the location I shouldn't be, but I'm catching the screen, catches it on a third down and gets vertical for a conversion. Go back and look at it, 2019 game. That play right there, I've never seen a receiver do something like that. I can remember I showed that play and I asked Tristan Jackson, in a film, I said, hey, if that happens in practice, you going to be able to do that today? He goes, hell no, I'm not going to be able to do that. So that's what Cooper does.
We've talked about in the past, it's a bigger picture question, but do you think that the sort of emergence over the last 5 years or so of teams increasing passing downs on early downs, passing down rates on early downs, do you think that increase in frequency has led to sort of an evolution of sort of joker players on the other side on defense, especially on those downs?
Yeah, I do. I think, it's such a cyclical league when you really look at it, whether you talk about play action, even last year, you look at how much empty we were in Cincinnati. And so defenses do a great job. They adjust, and it's kind of that game that's ever evolving. There's certain things that are consistent with good football, but I definitely think so, Jordan, because the more that you can present, whether it be offensively or defensively, with guys that have the ability to do either or, keeps you in conflict, gives you the ability to present more from that perspective, and I definitely would agree with that. Okay? Thank you, guys.